What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you, IMV Gaming. If you need to get caught up, I'm going to do a real quick nutshell recap of what happened. These guys came out a couple years ago on Twitter. They showed some incredible renders of a stadium and player models. A lot of the community really received it well because college football is a game that everyone wants back. A lot of community members started to talk about this. In turn, a lot of community members went to support it through a proprietary system they had of backing, which they had a newsletter that came out. They promised a free copy of the game. They promised, controller skins. So they were doing all these things to generate this revenue. And then they eventually got to the point where they had NFL players and NBA players buying in, and they gave everyone an opportunity to get their money back if they wanted because they'd secured all the funding they needed. They started to talk to developers like Big Ant, and then slowly but surely, we just stopped to hear about those things as they continue to enter negotiations. Now, it basically is a company. I wouldn't even say it's a company. It's basically a premise funded completely through social media. So it's intriguing to see them dial back social media now, blocking their Twitter and going and putting their other platforms private so no one can see what's going on. Oddly enough, there's also a community member that bought a website called bringbackgreatness.com, which was their slogan, and he's actually kind of seeking to go through and look a little deeper into a lot of things they talked about doing or things they said they had kind of obtained. So one of the things he starts to talk about was this Flonomix and their plans to contribute $5 million into Gridiron Champions. So he basically takes the press release and goes through and can't find a whole lot of information about what this true company is worth and how vaguely some of this is worded. So, for example, when they say they plan to contribute into a partnership, it doesn't exactly mean there's 100% investment. Now, I know a lot of people have talked about where this business comes back to. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, it's an abandoned building. It's not an abandoned building. It's actually a prestige address that a lot of companies use. And it comes back to a post office. And I don't really have a problem with that. I guess what I have a problem with is how we continue to have people find this information out, whether they're right or wrong, and not have IMV come out and correct some things. I get it. You can't respond to every critic that comes down the pike. But at some point, you also have to put out enough information so that people stop trying to make accusations against you. And this website, at least for the time being, is the biggest indictment we've ever seen against Gridiron Champions. Now, to that point, there's also a lot of people that have struggled to get their refunds back recently after that refund window closed. Now, I've reached out to a lot of people that are involved in IMV Gaming, and whether it's because I'm asking about IMV Gaming or they don't care to respond, I don't know, but I'm not getting a lot of reception from the people that initially bought into this product or helped sell this product to the community. And naturally, it's always something that I've covered. In fact, I've probably had the two guys involved in this on my channel more than anybody else on YouTube, so it's strange that they wouldn't reach back out. It's also strange that, like we talked about, a company based in social media is scaling back all its social media. And hopefully it's for the greater good. I mean, hopefully they've finally taken all this time for a game that was supposed to initially come out next year, or in some cases we've seen this year. And we know that it's not even in development. If anything, it's really hindered other products coming to the marketplace because it left a false sense of concept with what people expected a product to be. So they judge every other independent game against that. And this is a game that is really yet to see any light of a developer's eye in terms of trying to get the vision they had onto an actual console, much less onto an actual PC. And I think we've seen through current games in the marketplace, you really need to go PC first before you can even begin to explore consoles. So for many people that are getting tired of waiting, I would say, if this does become a reality, if everything right now behind closed doors is going as best as it can, the investor money is there, the developer is ready to go, they're just trying to put pieces in place to get the best product they can. And they did have pieces. They went out and they got Jeffrey Lurie, they went out and got some NFL players that were supposedly helping put this game together. Even if all that is happening, I would think we've learned the process to develop a game is going to take at minimum 2 to 3 years, which means they've by far offshot their estimate. But at the same time, I think people would be willing to forgive all of the inconsistencies, all of the lack of information, if we could just have some type of timetable set and some accountability for the lack of information that's came out. After all, they did get a large amount of money from many community members that just wanted to have a college football game in hand. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you checking it out. I will be back in the week with more commentary.